Hello, friends, and welcome to A Pathway to Pro. This is the second time I've given this presentation, and at the end of the first time, someone came up to me and said, Sarah, thank you. This is the roadmap I'd been looking for to build my $1 million business. And that made me so happy because that's exactly what this is. People ask me oftentimes, what does mobile bev pros mean? What does it mean to be a pro? And it has taken me a while to distill that down. Not only has it taken me a while, but it's taken me over $50,000 in coaching and education after my master's degree to really distill it down as to what it means to be a pro. Pro, obviously, being short for professional. And the reason I think that's so important and why I named my entire company Mobile Bev Pros is because professional businesses have value. And I don't think enough people really consider value and how they're creating value in their business when they start their business. There's a number of reasons why people start businesses, whether it's they don't want to work for the man anymore, or they want to build wealth, or they have a passion for something and they want to get paid for it. There's all sorts of different reasons why people get into this business. But the sad thing is that it takes a ton of money, time, energy, sweat, even blood to build a mobile bar business. And often, way too often, the result of all of that effort, time, commitment is that it just gets shut down. And I don't believe that that's an acceptable way to end something that people spend so much of their lives building. When I sold my mobile bar back in 2021, I worked with a broker, and he told me, he said, Sarah, I have buyers lined up to buy businesses just like yours. The problem is that we have a hard time finding businesses that have been built in a way to be buyable or sellable in my case. He said, do you have any other mobile bars that you know of that are set up the way that yours was so that new buyers could just step in to the operation and the running of the mobile bar? And I didn't have the answer to that. I had been at that point teaching mobile bars how to launch. And I realized that the program I had built was sufficient to getting people to six figures in a way that made their business organized, systematized, all of those things. But whether or not they had gone through and done the work of implementing all of that, I didn't know. And that's where the idea of this program comes in. This program is not only going to give you the roadmap, but it's also going to give the accountability built in to ensure that you've done the work to make the business sellable. And that doesn't mean you have to sell it, because a business that is valuable, a business that is sellable, is also way more profitable and way more easy to run. So if your goal is not to sell your business, that's okay, because the work we do within this program is going to make it so much easier and profitable for you to continue to own. But the reality is, every business has an exit. Let me move to this one. Why go pro? Look, I'm talking and I'm not even paying attention to my own slides. So we already covered this. So there's only three ways to exit a business. You can close it down or sell it for parts. You can sell it, or you can pass it on, give it away, or die. That being the least most attractive one, I think. But when I took a poll recently of mobile bar owners at camp, actually, and asked them how many wanted to sell their bar at the end. Those are the only three options: close it down, sell it for parts, sell it, pass it on, give it away. If those are the only three categories, how many people wanted to sell? And about 90% of people raised their hand. They wanted to sell it, right? There's a Forbes statistic that 50% of a small business's wealth, a small business owner's wealth, is in their business. So if 50% of your wealth is in your business, but it's not sellable and you just have to close it down, That's a real problem. That's money out the window down the drain, right? The sadder reality is that of those who want to sell it, only 20% will successfully sell their business. 80% of small businesses out there are unsellable. An even more scary statistic is only 40% of small businesses out there are profitable. Ew, that's terrible. And so I was on a mission when I realized that I could sell my business for well over six figures and that was an anomaly. I decided that I wanted to figure out how to create an actual framework to make this replicable and easy to implement for other mobile bar owners to do within their own business, even if their main goal was not to sell it in the near future. We still want to build it in a way that it can be sold. And there's lots and lots of stories. I've been talking to a lot of business brokers as to what makes a business sellable. That's all been part of my research. And those takeaways from all those conversations, the over 50 grand in coaching, of sitting in rooms with millionaires who were building their business in a way that is sellable, came this program. And so I want to share that with you today. So the first thing here is just the agenda. I'm going to talk a little bit about me, some housekeeping. I'm going to introduce you to the pillars, and we're going to go over each of the pillars real quick. Then I have an invitation at the end. A little bit about me. If you know who I am, then you know I have a master's degree in hospitality. I had a very successful mobile bar. We got within to $100,000 within 18 months. By the time I sold my business, we had a 60% profit margin. We're making multiple six figures, yada, yada, yada. I've been in the restaurant and hospitality industry for a really long time. So the facts on the screen are just really fun facts about me. And the last one being the most important, teaching people how to build valuable businesses so that they can better their lives is my favorite thing to do in the world. And so that's what I'm doing here. A little bit of housekeeping. I find this to be really helpful. Based on psychology, you will retain the information that I give you much better if you put your feet flat to the floor, you take a deep breath. Under oxygenated brains don't process information very well. And if you focus on me, so like turn off the notifications on your phone, put your kid in a place where they're not constantly interrupting. Because even if you don't sign up for one of my programs, the information that I'm giving you here is the framework that you need to follow. You don't have to follow it from me. But this, you can go and do all the research and you can hire the people that I hired in order to get this information. But this is the framework, so do not miss this. You want this. These are the pillars, which I've depicted as circles, naturally. We want a valuable business to have these 6 pillars. Now, it's important to note, you do not need to master all of these 6 pillars in order to be sellable. Even if you had 2 or 3 of these, in mastery phase and then the others not, but like in the progress of mastery, it will still be a sellable business. Will you get as much for it? Probably not, but it would still be sellable. So the other thing to remember here is that you can't master all of these pillars at once. And where you are in your business, as in how much time you're into it and how mature your business is, will depend on whether or not you can master these pillars. You cannot master all of these pillars straight out of the gate. You just can't. Where you are in your business is going to determine what parts of these pillars you can master, which is actually how our 2 group programs come to fruition. We've named these the Achieve and the Exceed. If you are within the first 18 months of your business and making under $100,000 in top line revenue, you are at the Achieve level. Now, you might have accomplished some of the things already that we'll go over, but chances are you haven't nailed all of them. If you are over 6 figures and over 18 months in business, you're going to be at the Exceed level. And that means that you're going to be tackling different challenges in each of these pillars in order to achieve mastery. I like to say new level, new devil, which means sometimes you have to put the horse before the cart, as in most of the time, right? And we're going to be dealing with different things in the first 18 months of a business than we will be in 18 months and beyond. And so we've made this very clear as to what you should be focusing on when. Okay, so reputable, visible, legal, profitable, scalable, and technological I have here in the middle. And that's because technological, the pillar of technology supports all the other pillars. And we'll get to that one last, so you'll see what that looks like. Profitable. Businesses that are profitable are valuable. Okay, obviously, profitability has value in money. But there's a reason why profitable businesses are valuable to everyone that interacts with a business. One, there's money enough in it for the owner to actually take things away. There's money enough to support growth. There's money enough to support employees having the resources that they need in order to succeed. There's money in there for things like marketing, right? So profitable businesses have enough money to fund its own growth and support the infrastructure that's needed for a business to succeed. Mastery in the profitable pillar looks like packaging and pricing that protects margins, knowing how to read and use financial reports, having an intentional sales strategy that includes upsells, running a lean and efficient business, optimizing your close rate, utilizing economies of scale, and focusing on profitable customers. Now, we can't do all of those things straight from the gate. So at the achieve level, we would be focusing in our group program on pricing and packaging, reading and using financial reports, mastering the sales process, and basic bookkeeping. At the exceed level, we're looking at culling offers. Now, what does that mean? Well, Don Bransuela said at camp, he said his first year was the season of yes. And so many mobile bars do the same thing. It's not a bad thing. You're saying yes to everything. And by doing that, you figure out what you like, what you don't like, who your ideal clients are, what services you enjoy and that you can actually execute, etc. It's the experiential learning. But at a certain point, you have to take a look at what you're offering and figure out what's profitable, what's a loss. I had a call not too long ago with someone we were going through their pricing and packaging offers. And in order for them to offer coffee service, they had to offer it at almost twice the rate of their main competitor who owned the market in coffee. And so it became a question, does it benefit them to continue to do coffee even though it's the lowest profit margin of everything they offer and their competitor is kind of doing it better? The answer for me would be no. Let's cut the coffee service. I can still offer it, but I can offer it through that person as a strategic partner. And that way I don't have a ton of resources tied up in a very expensive service offering that also makes me a loss, right? So that's an example of culling an offer. So we're also going to learn how to use KPIs, income diversification, automating, eliminating, and delegating, and utilizing economies of scale. All right, so this is what we would be tackling at the exceed level in our group program. The next pillar is visibility. I talk a lot about visibility because businesses that are visible, they don't struggle with sales. They might struggle with other things, but often if you're visible, it is so easy to get people into a sales situation. And so we're going to move on to what mastery looks like in this pillar. Mastery at this pillar looks like being known, being remembered, having a diversified visibility strategy, funneling traffic through your website instead of social media, focusing on amplifiers, using social media to complement their greater visibility, not as their core component, and then actively seeking repeat business. Now, this is not an exhaustive list. There's lots more that we go over, but this fits on the slide. At the achieve level, we're working on social media strategy, cold outreach, networking, and website. At the exceed level, we're working on omnipresence, email strategy, nurture programs, repeat business strategy, paid marketing, community involvement, and more, right? You can tell from looking at this, when you're first getting started, we're just creating a social media strategy. And I'm a big believer of picking one platform and owning that platform before moving on. Whereas at the exceed level, we'll have already created that social media strategy, and then we can start exploring omnipresence. So how do we also show up on TikTok and YouTube and Pinterest, all of the places, so that we have visibility everywhere. When you're first getting started, if you try that, you're going to exhaust your resources because your business isn't yet funding the growth of your business, right? So we want to make sure we're focusing on the right things at the right time. The next one is legal. Now, this is the least sexy pillar, so I stuck it in the middle. But businesses that are legal are better protected, not only just the founder, but the team and their clients. And mastery in this pillar looks like an attorney-reviewed contract, following local permit and licensing laws, formed in a way that protects personal assets, have separate business and personal accounts, carrying all the necessary insurances, W-2ing their bartenders, proactively mitigating risk. Now, this seems all like, well, duh, but here's the thing. When we did camp, a good 50% of mobile bars weren't doing all of this correctly. Right? So it's really important if you're going to go to sell your business that you have all your ducks in a row. One of the stories that I heard from a broker was that there was $1 million business that they were trying to sell for over $1 million because it had that much value in it. And ultimately they couldn't sell the business because their books were a total mess. They said they were making $1 million, but they couldn't prove it. They had merged their personal accounts with their business accounts, and it was just a total mess. They weren't filing their taxes properly, which meant that was something that they had to untie or mess in order to get to the point of sale. And we don't want that, right? So we want to make sure that we are implementing all of these pillars as we go, or all of these tasks in the pillar. So at the achieve level, we'd focus on contracts, business formation, business bank accounts, and basic risk mitigation. After that, we work on W-2ing the team, advanced risk mitigation. If you're in the exceed stage, you're going to have you're going to be exposed to more risk than you are at the achieve level. So we're going to talk about additional ways in which we can protect the business. We're going to talk about trademark filing. A lot of people like to come out of the gate with trademark. You can't really get a trademark unless you've been using it for 5 years. Now you can get a different type, like a preliminary type of trademark, but so many businesses fold before the 5-year mark. And so why pay the money and spend the time to get a trademark if you don't make it to the 5-year mark, right? So at the exceed level, we start exploring trademark filing, tax law tips, employee manuals, etc. That brings us to the next pillar, which is the pillar of being reputable. Businesses that are trusted and respected are more valuable than unknown and untried entities. And so at this pillar, mastery of this pillar looks like lots of social proof, a very clear ideal client, consistent branding, placement on preferred vendor lists, strategic partnerships, not having to compete on price. That's a really good indicator that you've left the achieve stage and that you're approaching mastery. Not having referrals from past clients and other vendors, and processes to support setting expectations. At the achieve level, we focus on branding, social proof, ideal client, and expectation setting. At the exceed level, we are working now on strategic partners, referral programs, reputation building. Referral programs is on there twice. We're going to do that twice. And brand solidification. Which brings us to pillar 5, which is scalability. This is also a pillar of stability, but stability is the pillar wherein we're not seeking growth. And for most of the mobile bars, we are seeking growth. And so we want to make sure our business is built in a way that is scalable. Businesses that can grow or sustain when market changes occur without processes breaking down are valuable. People will pay to buy a business that already has processes, procedures, and scalability in place. Mastery of this looks like the CEO working on the business and not in the business. They are not the bottleneck of the business anymore. There are documented processes. You can book many events in a day. The owner can actually step away entirely and everything keeps running. They have a clear vision for where the business is going and how to get there, and multiple revenue streams. So at the achieve level, we don't focus a ton on scalability or building those systems because we're still figuring out what systems you want to create. So we're talking here about hiring bartenders and doing basic project management so that we can set the foundation for scaling. At the exceed level, this is where we scale. We'd start talking about delegating, hire management, business boundaries, employee onboarding and retention, SOPs, managing a growing team. Not everyone that comes into entrepreneurship has experience doing that, and wearing the CEO hat, which if you guys see any me with my crown on, that's what I call the CEO hat. People who wear the CEO hat make decisions differently than people who come at business ownership as an employee. So when I always send my coaching clients crowns because it's a good physical reminder that making a decision as an entrepreneurial employee who works within the business, and then putting that hat on and making decisions as someone who owns the business and has, employees that rely on them, it looks very different. And there are so many examples of times when someone's trying to make a decision and I say, okay, well, let's put the CEO hat on. What does it look like? If you're not worried about what they think of you or, any of that, but the benefit of the business and your reputation, what does that decision look like? And then it gets a whole lot easier. So wearing the CEO hat is a skill that I believe is required to master this pillar. Which brings us to our last pillar. Well, I skipped right over it. There we go. Pillar 6 is technological, and businesses that use technology to build efficiency and reduce costs strengthen all of their pillars. I have notes on this one. There we go. So there are times when technological and scalable appear to overlap, but there's value in seeing them as two separate pillars, because you can have systems and scalability without prioritizing technology. But it gets harder to make that business sellable without technology. So mastery of this pillar is achieved when a business is utilizing technology to automate what can be better handled by tech, while also streamlining processes that enhances the experience of all parties, including employees, clients, and management. So mastery here looks like using a project management program, having a CRM with automated workflows, staff scheduling tool, a payroll processor, an employee portal where they can access the employee-related information. So it's not all like, hey, I emailed it to you 17 months ago. Why do you not know that this is a thing? Also, using accounting software and having an organized and structured file management system. Now, you can't tackle all of this straight out of the gate, and I don't even think you need a whole lot of technology to get started. But you'll know when you need technology, when you start to chafe and there's friction in your processes and systems. So as you start to outgrow the different things in your business, that's when we can bring in technology to help facilitate that continued scalability, but also reputation. So people who really do well at having a CRM work for them, they're not having to put in their autoresponder, please, we'll get back to you within 24 to 48 hours in order to get you your proposal. They're utilizing that technology to get them the information they need faster than their competitors. So at the Achieve level, we're going to work on a basic CRM. We're going to work on template creation, so we're not having to write every email from scratch. We're going to work on scheduling software, and we're going to work on basic SEO for the website. Whereas at the Exceed level, we're working on an advanced CRM that has more automations in there. We're working on project management software because we can no longer just do it in Excel. We're looking at payroll software and potentially even an ordering and inventory system. So I know I threw a lot out at you, and you will have access to these slides if you want to go back through. And you do not need me to do this. However, if you would like someone who is intimately familiar with the mobile bar industry, has done all of this before, and can guide you through these steps in a way that costs significantly less than the $50,000 I've paid for this information, then I invite you to one of these three. The Academy is our tried, tested, and true offering that is best for people who want to do it themselves. You just want information. It's also best for people that are at the Achieve level. This is a course format. You learn on your own time. You do have access to a whole bunch of other things like discounts off coaching, discounts off live events, access to challenges and workshops and all those good things. You do also have monthly 15-minute masterminds with me so that you can ask your most burning questions and get unstuck. And that is always available and evergreen. I'm also supporting 15 people through the Achieve and Exceed programs in 2023. Now, we've already sold 4 of the spots, so there's 11 more spots available. If you are, again, under $100,000 in revenue and in your first 18 months of business, then the Achieve program is best for you. Now, this program is $6,000 for the entire year. For the Achieve, it is $10,000 for the entire year for the Exceed program. And these programs come with live bi-weekly lessons where we'll be tackling one of those bullet points every 2 weeks. It also comes with deliverables. We will be assigning homework. I don't just want to teach you. I want to know that you're implementing this stuff in your business. And so there's an immense amount of accountability and deliverables built into this program. Some weeks you're going to be like, I already did my website copy. Awesome. Show it to me. We'll review it, provide feedback. Now you can use those 2 weeks to work on the stuff that you're behind on from other weeks. But by the end of these programs, we're going to want to get you to as far to mastery of these pillars as possible. So in the Achieve program, we're hoping to get you about halfway there. We're going to do anything that's appropriate for the stage of business that you're in within each pillar. For the Exceed program, we're going to try and get you as close to completing mastery in as many pillars as we're able to within the year. Now, let me be clear. I'm on these masterminds with people making 7 figures that are still implementing mastery in these pillars. So you probably won't master all the pillars in 1 year. But like I said in the beginning, even mastery of 2 to 3 of these pillars makes your business infinitely more valuable. And the goal should always be to master all the pillars. May not happen within a year. That's okay. I know some people are like, oh my gosh, I'm already so overwhelmed with all of the things that you just said. Totally understand. Well, everyone is going to inherently be gifted at accomplishing some things. If you have an accounting background, chances are you're going to master that part of that pillar a whole lot faster. If you got a marketing background, you are going to master the visibility pillar a whole lot faster than the legal pillar, potentially, right? So we're not expecting to spit out 7-figure businesses, but by the end of this year, each and every one of these 11 remaining spots will have a business that is valuable and sellable. And that is my commitment. There's only 15 spots because I don't know that I can build 15 businesses, more than 15 businesses. And so we're going to start there. So if you're ready, we are only releasing currently, we are the November 18th at the moment. We're only releasing this early offer to the people that signed up on the waitlist or were at camp. If you join the Achieve or the Exceed programs, there is a promo code that I'll include. It's GoPro, and it'll get you $1,000 off the paid in full option. So instead of $6,000, it'll be $5,000. Instead of $10,000, it'll be $9,000 if you join the Exceed program. So I'm super excited to work with these 15 mobile bars over the next 12 months. And if you have any questions, ta-da, you can email us at hello@mobilebevpros.com. This little QR code will take you to the sign up page. And I will also include the link to sign up for these programs right now in the comment section or the email that you're receiving this in. And whichever lucky 11 mobile bars sign up, just know that we are getting started in January. So if you sign up now, that's totally cool. Reserve your spot. And you'll get more information on the exact calendar of events and the structure, all that stuff mid-December. And we get started in January. And that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. But I'm really excited. Can't wait to work with you.